Consistency is not a feeling, it's a force. And if you're waiting to feel like it before you do it, you've already lost. Winners don't consult their emotions before they act. They make a decision and then force their lives to come into alignment with that decision. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. And if your standard is inconsistency, then failure is not an accident, it's an appointment. Let me tell you something. Success doesn't come to the most gifted. It comes to the most faithful. The people who win in life are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. They're the ones who refuse to quit showing up. They show up tired. They show up broken. They show up without applause, but they show up. And that's why they win. You've got to stop giving yourself permission to quit. Every time you break your word to yourself, you're stealing from your future. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're robbing the version of you that's praying for breakthrough. Consistency isn't convenient, it's costly. But that cost is the price of greatness. And those who are unwilling to pay it will live beneath their potential for the rest of their lives. Listen, confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And you build it by keeping promises to yourself. When you do what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, you reinforce the belief that you're someone worth trusting. And when you trust yourself, you move different, you speak different, you lead different. People feel it. They may not be able to explain it, but they'll follow it. Some of you are praying for results, but you're not planting any consistency. Let me remind you, God doesn't bless laziness. He doesn't multiply inconsistency. You can't pray for harvest while refusing to plant seed. Your daily disciplines are seeds. Your quiet obedience is seed. And consistency is what waters those seeds until the overflow shows up. Stop asking for abundance while you're still living in rebellion to routine. Excuses are killing your future. And the worst part, they sound justifiable. You've convinced yourself that your struggle makes inconsistency acceptable. But hear me, your struggle is why you must be consistent. You don't get to become who you were called to be by making peace with mediocrity. You have to declare war on your comfort zone and evict every excuse living in your mind. You weren't created to survive. You were built to dominate. Success is not a mystery. It's not reserved for the elite. It's a system, a pattern, a rhythm, and consistency is the beat that keeps it alive. Do the work. Show up daily. Say no to distractions. Say yes to discipline. Build habits that serve your purpose. And when the feelings wear off, and they will, force yourself to remain faithful. Faithfulness is not just a spiritual principle, it's a success strategy. Consistency will turn your struggle into strength, your habits into harvest, and your discipline into destiny. So stop waiting to feel it. Stop checking if it's convenient and force yourself to be consistent. Your future depends on it. Discipline over desire means you stop letting how you feel dictate what you do. Desire is fickle. It comes and goes with your mood, your energy, your circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is fixed. It's anchored. It's a decision you make ahead of time and refuse to back down from no matter what your emotions are saying in the moment. If you live by desire, you'll always need motivation. If you live by discipline, you'll create momentum, and momentum will carry you places that motivation never could. Desire tells you to rest when you're supposed to rise. It tells you to skip the workout, delay the call, put off the meeting, or procrastinate on the plan. It gives you 100 justifications for staying average. But discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. Discipline wakes you up early, makes you uncomfortable, and demands your excellence, even when no one is watching. The truth is, you will never feel like doing the right thing every day. You will not always be inspired. But the disciplined person doesn't need inspiration to take action. They've trained themselves to move based on principle, not preference. They've built a system that ignores the emotional noise and obeys the original decision. You can't live a purpose-driven life while taking orders from your feelings. Feelings are indicators, not instructors. Discipline is the only voice that should sit in the decision-making seat of your life. When you choose discipline over desire, you take your power back. You stop being a slave to your impulses and start becoming the master of your outcomes. You begin to lead your life instead of react to it. And over time, that decision made again and again becomes your superpower, becomes the reason why you succeed when others give up. It becomes the quiet engine driving every achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of greatness. Discipline is how you honor your purpose. It's how you protect your potential. It's how you build the life you were created to live. Desire might feel good in the moment, but discipline makes you feel proud for a lifetime. So when the battle between comfort and calling shows up, and it will, choose discipline every time. The consistency creates confidence because every time you show up, even when it's hard, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted. Confidence isn't built by hype, compliments, or empty affirmations. It's built by results. And those results are only produced when you do the work repeatedly, regardless of how you feel. And when you keep showing up, when you keep pushing through, when you keep honoring your commitments, you start to believe in your own power. You develop a deep, unshakable confidence, not because someone told you you're great, but because you proved it to yourself in the dark. Most people want to feel confident before they act, but the truth is confidence doesn't precede consistency, it follows it. You don't become bold by waiting until you feel ready. You become bold by doing it scared, doing it unsure, doing it uncertain, and discovering that you're stronger than your doubt. Confidence grows in the soil of repeated action. You speak differently, walk differently, think differently when you know you're the kind of person who follows through. That's not arrogance, that's alignment, that's the power of integrity, that's the result of consistency. Consistency removes the need for external validation because you're no longer hoping to be great, you know you are becoming great. You've got evidence, you've got history, you've got receipts. You've done it before and you'll do it again. That's why confidence people don't have to talk about what they're going to do. They just do it. And their track record speaks for them. When you're consistent, your habits speak louder than your words ever could. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is not filled with talent. It's filled with consistency. Every day you show up, you shorten that gap, you bring the vision closer, you align your identity with your actions, and that alignment creates internal confidence that no setback, no critic, no failure can shake. The world respects consistency. Opportunities find the consistent. Results follow the consistent because consistency is the proof that you're serious. So if you want more confidence, don't chase the feeling, chase the pattern, build the rhythm. Get in motion. Keep your word. Show up when it's boring. Stay the course when it's not exciting. And over time, you won't just feel confident, you'll become confident, not because you said it, but because you lived it. That's the power of consistency. Habits build legacy, not hype, because hype is loud, temporary, and emotional, but legacy is quiet, consistent, and eternal. Hype will get people to notice you for a moment, but habits are what keep you relevant for a lifetime. You don't build a meaningful life off of viral moments or motivational highs. You build it by what you do daily when nobody's watching, when no one is clapping, when the spotlight is off. The true measure of greatness is not how high you can jump when you're excited, but how long you can walk in the same direction when you're tired. People chase hype because it feels good. It's fast, flashy, and makes noise. But hype fades. It's built on perception, not substance. And if all you've got is hype without habits, your success will be shallow and short-lived. On the other hand, habits are slow, deliberate, and often unglamorous, but they compound, they build layer upon layer, brick upon brick, until they form a structure that time can't shake and critics can't break. That's how legacy is built, not in moments, but in methods. Your habits are either preparing you for your future or pulling you away from it. Every day you repeat a behavior, you're casting a vote for the type of person you're becoming. The legacy you leave behind will not be defined by one major accomplishment, but by the character you build through daily discipline. A person of greatness doesn't wait for big moments. They master small ones. They understand that excellence is not an act, it's a habit. It's who they are behind closed doors that determines who they become in public. If you want to leave a mark that outlasts you, stop chasing attention and start chasing alignment. Align your actions with your assignment. Build habits that serve your vision. Live a life of structure and intention, because hype might make you popular, but habits make you powerful. The world doesn't need more hype, it needs more examples. It needs more people who live what they preach, who walk out their purpose day after day, and who don't quit when it stops being exciting. So don't get discouraged when it feels mundane. Don't despise the small beginnings. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep refining your routine, because while hype fades, habits forge legacy. And legacy is what echoes after you're gone. Obedience produces overflow because it puts you in alignment with divine order. When you do what you're supposed to do, when you follow through, stay faithful, and walk in discipline, you're not just building habits, you're unlocking blessings. Obedience isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about being in the right position to receive what's already been prepared for you. God doesn't bless, he blesses order. And order comes through obedience. Many people are praying for overflow while living in rebellion to the very principles that produce it. You can't ask for abundance while disobeying the system that creates abundance. Overflow isn't the result of luck. It's the result of alignment. When your life lines up with the laws of sowing and reaping, discipline and diligence, stewardship and faithfulness, you activate a spiritual law that multiplies what you put in. The world calls it consistency, but the kingdom calls it obedience. And that obedience always produces increase, not immediately, but inevitably. There are blessings that are delayed, not because they've been denied, but because the vessel isn't ready to receive them. Obedience is what prepares the vessel. It expands your capacity. It stretches your character. It matures your mindset so you can manage what you're asking for. Overflow isn't just about more, it's about sustainability. And only an obedient heart can sustain divine abundance without sabotaging it. When you obey consistently, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is cheering you on, you're planting seeds into soil that never fails. That's where overflow comes from, not from striving harder, but from trusting deeper. Obedience is an act of faith. It's saying, I may not see the harvest yet, but I trust the principle. I trust the process. I trust the one who gave me the instruction. Overflow isn't just about money either. It's peace, it's wisdom, it's favor. It's open doors you didn't knock on. It's opportunities you didn't chase. It's people coming into your life you didn't expect. Obedience draws all of that in because it proves you're ready to carry more than what you currently have. And once God can trust you with the small through obedience, he'll release the overflow that you couldn't earn on your own. So stop praying for blessings that your habits can't hold. Start living in obedience daily, quietly, faithfully, and watch what happens. Obedience doesn't always look dramatic. But behind the scenes, it's creating a ripple effect that leads to supernatural increase. You don't need more hype, you need more obedience. Because obedience always produces overflow. Excuses are the language of mediocrity because they allow you to stay comfortable while blaming something or someone else for your lack of results. They sound reasonable, they sound justified, but they keep you broke, broken, and behind. Every excuse you make is a story you tell yourself to protect your ego instead of confront your reality. And as long as you keep speaking the language of excuses, you'll never learn the discipline of execution. You cannot rise while you're still explaining why you haven't moved. Excuses are the lies that average people use to feel okay about quitting. They disguise themselves as logic, but they are chains. Chains that keep you bound to the level you say you want to leave. You say you want success, but your excuses prove you're more committed to comfort. You say you want breakthrough, but your language still defends limitations. Until you confront that contradiction, you'll stay stuck. You'll hustle in circles, always moving but never arriving because your mind is still negotiating with mediocrity. Mediocrity is not a result, it's a mindset. And that mindset speaks through delay, doubt, distraction, and justification. It says, I'll start tomorrow. It says, I don't have time. It says it's not the right season. But excellence doesn't speak that way. Excellence says, if not now, when? Excellence finds a way. Mediocrity finds an excuse. You can't speak both languages. One will silence the other. Either you silence your excuses, or your excuses will silence your progress. You've got to get honest. Your future does not care about your excuses. Your purpose doesn't pause because life got hard. Your calling doesn't shrink just because you feel tired. The real question is not what's in your way. The real question is, what have you allowed to become acceptable? What have you permitted? Because what you tolerate, you cannot transform. As long as you keep giving yourself an out, you will never give yourself fully to the process. And only full commitment produces full transformation. Excuses feel good in the short term, but they cost you everything in the long term. They rob you of ownership, and without ownership, you'll never build anything worth keeping. Greatness demands that you stop blaming your past, your pain, your parents, your partner, your job, your circumstances, and take full responsibility for your life. That's not pressure, that's power. Because once you own it, you can change it. So cancel the contract you've made with mediocrity. Fire the voice of excuse in your mind and speak the language of responsibility, of ownership, of execution. Because excuses might make you feel safe, but they will never let you win. And you were not born to be average, you were born to rise. But you can't rise until you stop making excuses. Success isn't a secret, it's a system. Too many people are waiting for some hidden formula or magical moment to change their lives, when in reality, success is the predictable outcome of following a specific set of principles over time. It's not reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone who's willing to submit to the process. The problem isn't that success is hiding from you. It's that most people are unwilling to do the daily, unglamorous work that success requires. They want the results without the repetition. They want the reward without the routine. There's a reason successful people seem to keep winning. It's not luck. It's not a secret. It's structure. It's systems. It's habits, patterns, and disciplines, repeated consistently, even when motivation runs out. Successful people don't just set goals. They build systems that support those goals. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on workflows. They don't wake up wondering what to do. They already know. Their actions are scheduled, their outcomes are measured, and their energy is focused. That's how they keep growing even when others are stuck. Waiting for inspiration is a trap. Chasing motivation is a dead end. Success doesn't come to the most inspired, it comes to the most prepared. And preparation is the product of a system. It's what you do every morning when no one's watching. It's the way you organize your time, the way you manage your mind, the way you filter your focus. Every breakthrough you see in someone's life is the byproduct of a system that worked behind the scenes long before the spotlight showed up. You rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your systems. And if your system is disorganized, undisciplined, and driven by emotion, your life will reflect that. But if your system is intentional, focused, and executed with consistency, you will inevitably rise. That's not theory, it's law. It's cause and effect. Sow the system, reap the success. You've got to stop looking for shortcuts and start building structure. Stop looking for secrets and start creating strategy. This isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter, on purpose, with intention. It's about designing your day, managing your mind, mastering your minutes. When you do that, success becomes inevitable, not accidental. So stop idolizing what you think you don't know and start executing what you already do know. Build the system, trust the system, commit to the system. Because success is not a mystery, it's a method. It's not hidden, it's habitual. And the moment you start honoring the system will start producing success every time. At the end of the day, your future will not be built by hype, emotion, or good intentions. It will be built by what you do when no one's clapping, when no one's looking, and when it would be easier to quit. You've heard the truth. Force yourself to be consistent because consistency creates confidence. Choose discipline over desire because desire fades, but discipline forms destiny. Understand that habits, not hype, build legacy. Obedience, not just effort, produces overflow. Excuses are the language of mediocrity, but execution is the voice of greatness. And success, it's not a secret, it's a system. Everything you want, abundance, impact, legacy, freedom, is on the other side of the choices you make daily. Stop looking for a way out and start locking in on the way through. Refuse to live by feelings. Refuse to negotiate with your old self. Refuse to speak the language of average. Instead, take command, set the standard, build the system, honor the process, trust the principle, and show up over and over again until your consistency demands the breakthrough. You weren't created to live small, think average, or settle for scraps. You were designed to dominate. But domination only belongs to the disciplined. Legacy only belongs to the obedient. And overflow only belongs to the consistent. So rise up, take full responsibility, force yourself to be consistent, and the future you desire will have no choice but to show up every single time.